when we talked a couple of weeks ago, you said something that was impactful to me. I thought it was a great quote. I'm going to attribute it to you. And if you took it from someone else, sorry. But in the face of an uncertain environment, don't tortoise, but instead plan. It's the same thing. Don't focus on short-term results when you got to be looking at the bigger picture. Let's talk a little bit about that, tortoising and planning. I know we've covered it a lot already, but let's expand it a little bit further.
Yeah, there's a nuance to it more than what we've talked about so far. In the face of uncertainty or fear, there is a natural human instinct to go into kind of a protective mode, right? And that's what I call tortoising. Is you're going to go into your shell. And so people they start laying off lots of people and they get smaller in their thinking, right? And sometimes, listen, I had a client, I had a couple of clients early in the COVID experience who wanted to close. They were actually talking to me about shutting down their business. And it was that natural sort of fear reaction, right? And I pushed them and we actually ran numbers. We looked at marketing plans. We looked at timing of the cycles of their business. And more importantly, and here's the really, I know we're going to talk about pivoting in a minute, but here's the really important thing to think about. You have to think about the underlying need your clients have, not just the thing you're selling them. And when you realize that even though the way you deliver it can't be delivered the same way anymore, that need still exists, then you get creative about how else can we deliver that need. So both those clients had said to me they were going to close. Mm-hmm. We actually mapped out a plan. One of them is going to have their best year ever. They didn't close, right? But there was that tortoise thing where fear, bad things, don't know what to do, shut down. So sometimes that's why you need an outside perspective, because your emotional reaction is to go into protection and you need a different view of things. But if you can stop and go,
hey,
I'm not going to...
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm as guilty as anybody of the tortoising. I lost my job last March, and I tortoised, I think, for a couple of months, quite frankly.
Right.
Before I decided to go into the starting my own company and doing consulting and services. I've got 3 clients now. It's looking like it's going to be okay. But when that first hit, tortoise, I just went into my shell. I shrunk. I hid the fear. How am I going to take care of my family? How am I going to do all these things? And I think it's just a natural reaction. So I know you're about to say something else.
Well, the alternative to that is to plan, right? And what we mean by planning is just saying, I'm here. I want to go here. What are the resources I have in front of me? So how do I deploy those resources to get out of the situation I'm in to a situation I want to go to? And when you can do that, and sometimes it's in ads. My very first business enterprise that I tried actually got stolen from me. Right, I left my job, started this initiative, and some people did an end run around it. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? I don't have a job. The thing I left to do is no longer available to me. And so I immediately went into planning. And that's how I became a college professor. I actually looked at what I was able to do. I packaged a course together, sold it to a college. College hired me to do it. While I was teaching the college, I started building out a second entrepreneurial venture. And that wound up becoming a really major business. Well, it was super cool, but it was that instead of tortoising, I just made this conscious decision to go plan what the next sequence is going to be. And that gets you out of it. Now, sometimes planning, it isn't all, I don't want to be Pollyanna-ish about it either. Sometimes the right thing to do is close, even if just for a short time. But the difference here is not to do it out of fear, but to do it out of an intentional decision. I had a conversation with a business owner last week who said, I should have closed my business rather than keep paying these costs given what happened. And it was an ego thing to kind of keep it going. The smart play for him would have been to close, even temporarily, keep his cash, and then on the other end of this, resurface again, or to, try something else. Because in his particular industry, there wasn't a really clear pivot. So, my point is to make all your decisions really intentional, not fear-based. And that's that difference between tortoising and planning.